So it was recently revealed in Yai's post-game, post-Archon Quest dialogue that the Dendro Archon is in fact not a guy, but a woman, or at least a girl. I know this was a bit of contention in the Impact community because it was previously translated as a she or her, and so we assumed that the Dendro Archon was in fact a woman. But that turned out not to be the case. That was just a mistranslation. And so now what we've got is a Dendro Archon who is undoubtedly, or at least from what we know so far, a guy. Um, and so that's why I've been thinking about Sumeru for a bit in the last couple of days, ever since the Inazuma storyline ended, really, because obviously it's the next region. That's where we're going, or at least that's what's hinted at. Everything we know about it is that it'll be the next region, and that has me quite excited for two main reasons. One, which most of you will also probably share, is that it's the Dendro region, and we have zero Dendro characters in the game so far that are playable. We know of one or two Dendro characters. That is Baizhu, who was revealed to us in Act 2 of Genshin Impact in Liyue. He is probably a Liyue character. I haven't really done any real research into it. He has a Chinese-ish name, Baizhu. I haven't even researched the kanji, but from what I know of Chinese and pinging, it is a Chinese-inspired name, so he is probably from Liyue. And we also know of another Dendro character who has not shown up as a 3D model in the game yet, but we're pretty much assured that she is a thing, and her name is Yao Yao. That's her over there. She's a chibi character, which is great for all of you chibi lovers. And here is Baizhu. He's the guy with the snake around his neck, and I believe he runs an apothecary in Liyue City. We took a quest from him at one point after we did the quest for Qiqi. And I think he's the guy who rescued Qiqi, or the one who she now lives with and is basically her boss. So yeah, I'm excited to finally be able to play a Dendro character sometime in the next, I don't know, half year maybe. I don't know how this will work. Are we only going to get a Dendro character when the Dendro region is revealed? I assume that the first character we meet in the Dendro region will be a Dendro character. It would be really weird if that wasn't the case, because we don't have Dendro character right now, so we're going into a Dendro region without ever seeing how a Dendro ability works, and that would be super weird. So I assume that we will either get a Dendro character right at the beginning of the patch in which the Dendro region is released, or we will get one before that, similar to how we got Kazuha before Inazuma fully released in patch 2.0. Another reason why I'm excited is that it'll be the first non-European and non-East Asian inspired region in the game. Currently we have Mondstadt, Liyue, and Inazuma. Inazuma and Liyue are both East Asian inspired, although they are inspired by different countries. They are still ultimately somewhat similar in themes, not themes really, but in the aesthetics of it. While Mondstadt is based off of a German-centric European aesthetic design. So Mondstadt itself means Moon City in German, and a few characters like Fischl is based also on German pronunciations and German words. So that's pretty exciting. Sumeru, I believe, is based on Sumer. The name is very similar to Sumeru. Sumer is one of the oldest civilizations in the Mesopotamian Fertile Crescent. If my high school basic Wikipedia history knowledge doesn't fail me, that's what it is. I think Sumer stretches from 4,500 BC. Yeah, it's basically over here. It's in the Middle East, essentially. I also, if I remember correctly, it's also based somewhat on South Asian Buddhist mythology or religion. And here we've got a bunch of names for NPCs that have been in the game so far, and they're all pretty much Middle Eastern or South Asian. Rani, Soraya, Saeed, Hosseini. What is a tiny bit concerning though is that all of these NPCs are kind of pale, and it's kind of weird because we're supposed to be going to a dendro region that is half desert and half tropical jungle, right? So you would assume that some of these characters would not look as pale as all of the other characters, but that doesn't seem to be the case. All of them, all the NPCs are just similar-ish in tone to the generic NPCs from other regions, which could just be a facet of MiHoYo being lazy or not making unique NPCs for um, Sumeruan characters and NPCs. But we know that they can make browner skin tone, darker skin tone characters like Xingyin and Kaya. So it's not some kind of technical problem, I would assume, unless there's something about brown, something about darker tone characters that just makes the computers go haywire. So yeah, that's kind of weird, but no judging. Like Sino looks perfectly fine to me. Not obviously not all people in the Middle East and South Asia are darker skin. Some are perfectly similar to other people from other parts of the world. That sounded horrible, didn't it? But yeah, I know there are lots of people in the Middle East who look similar to Europeans. Some even look closer to East Asians. Not all, but there are people in South Asia who do look similar to East Asians as well as Europeans. So yeah, in general, I am very happy with aesthetic. This perfectly embodies. This is like a melding of Yu-Gi-Oh, like the Millennium Eye, and Genshin Impact. And I was a huge fan of Yu-Gi-Oh in my early high school and elementary school days. So this is right up my creek. So yeah, I'm really excited for Sumeru, but it it does seem to be a departure from the classical Genshin formula we've known so far. Because as I've said, it's the first non-European and non-East Asian inspired region. And as far as I know, like India and the Middle East are not the biggest places for Genshin Impact in terms of popularity. Maybe not the Middle East, just South Asia. Because from the Google Trends searches I've done, South Asia seems to be more enamored with like PUBG and that kind of stuff, whereas Genshin Impact not so much. Maybe it's different in Saudi Arabia. I do know that some Arabs really like Genshin Impact, and they're one of the primary spenders on the game. So yeah, it looks amazing to me. Sino, who appeared in the comics, I've read the comics, but I basically just skimmed through them. I wasn't too into it. Um, it's fine, but I'd just rather see the stuff in the game rather than as a part of some other kind of alternative media. I haven't read the manga. I haven't read most of the external stuff. I did skim through the comics as I said, but again, I just want to see in the game. So yeah, that's basically how I feel about Sumeru. I'm really excited for it, especially now that the arc. I know I'm like getting way past Inazuma already, even though it's technically not done. We still have another patch, another island to go through for Inazuma. But it does seem like Sumeru is the next big thing, and Dendro Archon, as well as Dendro characters, have not been revealed, since we don't have a Dendro character or any idea what it's going to look like. I'm super excited for that. Tell me what you think in the comment section. If you found this rant enjoyable, like, subscribe, do all the usual things you do on YouTube. Dislike if you actually don't dislike.